Breaking news. Things are heating up behind the scenes with the Buffalo Bills. There's drama, there's hype, and the stakes are sky high. Could this be the year? But before we dive into all the action, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button if you believe the Bills have what it takes to make it to the next Super Bowl. And hey, if you're into NFL updates with respect, good vibes, and real passion, subscribe to the channel. It's quick and helps out a ton. Honestly, I believe so much in this team, and if you do too, drop this in the comments. Go Bills! I believe. Alright, now let's break down the behind-the-scenes fire. 3 days. Just 3 days before the NFL draft and Bills Mafia. You won't believe the whirlwind of names flying around right now. What if I told you? The Buffalo Bills are potentially about to pull one of the biggest surprises of the first round. Picture this at pick 30, with the world expecting them to play it safe, go with a solid corner, maybe a safety, plug and own. Hold they throw a curveball, a name nobody had on their radar for round 1. A player who didn't even show up in Buffalo's pre-draft visits, and yet, here we are. ESPN's Adam Schefter has dropped a rumor that UCLA linebacker Carson Schwinger could be in play for the Bills at 30. Yes, Carson Schwinger, a name many had pegged for day 2, a player who wasn't even on the Bills' pre-draft radar until now. And this isn't just some random late-round flyer talk. We're talking about a guy who is now being seriously considered by not just the Bills, but also the Commanders at 29. Something has clearly changed. Something big. Schwinger is not your typical draft riser. He missed critical pre-draft events like the Senior Bowl and NFL Combine due to a hamstring tweak, so on paper, that's a red flag. But in a private workout earlier this week, he absolutely exploded in front of NFL scouts, according to Justin Mello of the Draft Network. Schwinger ran the 3-cone drill in 7.05 seconds, the shuttle in 4.5, and launched himself 10 feet 7 inches in the broad jump. All 3 would have been second best among all linebackers at the Combine. Think about that. That's elite athleticism off the charts. This is the type of profile the Bills love at the off-ball linebacker spot. Smart, explosive, versatile, someone who can mirror what Matt Milano brings to the table, but potentially with even more athletic upside. Let that sink in. Now look, Schwinger's college career was short. He was only a 1-year starter at UCLA, just 12 games, but in that single season, he put up monster production. Over 80 in his PFF grade, a staggering 90 in pass rush, and impressive marks in both run defense 74.7 and coverage 74.1. He was a force. 2 interceptions, a forced fumble, 136 tackles, only a 7.6% missed tackle rate, for sacks, 18 quarterback pressures. These aren't just good numbers, they're elite, especially for a player who didn't even get a full collegiate career to prove himself. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. He gave up 3 touchdowns in coverage, yes, but he balanced that out with key PBS and interceptions. Quarterbacks posted a 100 passer rating when targeting him, not ideal, but far from alarming for a linebacker with as much sideline-to-sideline range as he has. So now the conversation shifts. Could Schwinger be the guy to fill in for Milano, whose future in Buffalo is looking murky with only 9 games played in the last 2 seasons and a contract set to expire in 2026? The Bills are deep at linebacker with Terrell Bernard and Milano as the main duo. Dorian Williams showing promise, and special teams standout Joe Andre climbing up the depth chart after entering the league through a rookie minicamp invite. Still, this might be the perfect time to invest in a high upside, high athleticism linebacker who can develop and potentially become a cornerstone. But that's not all swirling around the Bills' war room right now. Mock drafts are everywhere, and there's no consensus. Dane Brugler of The Athletic has Buffalo going with Malaki Starks, the highly regarded safety out of Georgia, a leader, a multi-year starter, someone who could plug right into the free safety role and move around the secondary like a chess piece, versatile, reliable, and has been mocked in the mid-teens. If he falls to 30, that's a steal. Then there's Kenneth Grant, a name Bills fans know all too well, defensive tackle out of Michigan, 6'4", 331 pounds, a true one-technique disruptor, 3 sacks last year and an anchor in the run game. If the Bills want to control the trenches and get bigger and nastier up front, Grant is your guy. And the cornerback talk, that's where things really start getting interesting. CBS Sports is mocking Maxwell Hairston to Buffalo. The Kentucky Wildcat played just 7 games last season due to injury, but still ran a blistering 4.8 40-yard dash, the fastest at the combine. Pure man-to-man skills, raw athleticism, sticky coverage. But is that enough for a team that leans heavily on zone? Maybe the better fit is Trey Amos, who Pro Football Focus loves as a prototypical zone corner, textbook in technique, great instincts, and a day-one starter potential. His journey is a story in itself, from Louisiana Lafayette to Alabama to Ole Miss, improving at every stop. Led the second pass breakups last year and could be the perfect value pick at 30. And then there's a wild card. NFL.com has the Bills trading up to 24 to grab Marshall edge rusher Mike Green, the sack leader of 2024, 17 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. The ultimate high-motor edge presence who completely changed the identity of Marshall's defense. Green has been mocked as high as the teens, but if he slips, the Bills might make their move. So here's where things stand. The Bills have more options than anyone thought just a week ago. They could go safety, linebacker, corner, defensive tackle, edge. Heck, they might even trade up. But if Adam Schefter's right, and Buffalo is seriously considering Carson Schwinger, this is a franchise betting on upside, betting on athleticism, and maybe, just maybe, getting a secret weapon at pick 30. Now I need to hear from you, Bills Mafia. What do you think? Is Schwinger worth the risk? Would you pull the trigger at 30? Or do you want a safer pick like Malaki Starks or Kenneth Grant? Or maybe you're Team Trey Amos or ready to move up for Mike Green? Drop your takes in the comments below. D for draft, P for pass. I want to know exactly where you stand. And while we're all looking ahead to Thursday night, let's not ignore what this moment actually says about the Buffalo Bills as an organization. Because what we're seeing now isn't just about one pick at number 30. This is about a team that's reaching a critical crossroads in its roster construction. We're looking at a franchise that's still chasing that elusive Super Bowl, but also starting to plan for what's coming to 3 years down the line. And that brings us right back to a name like Carson Schwinger. This is a front office, a coaching staff that's not afraid to gamble if the upside is real. Brandon Beane has shown us time and time again he's willing to roll the dice when he sees a player with the tools to become elite. Look no further than past picks like Greg Rousseau or Kyle Allen, players selected, not because they were the most polished, but because they had sky-high ceilings. Schwinger fits right into that mold, and the reality is, the linebacker position in Buffalo is more fragile than it looks on the surface. Matt Milano, as beloved as he is entering the twilight of his contract and hasn't been consistently available. Terrell Bernard has absolutely shown flashes, but what happens if he regresses or struggles with health? Dorian Williams is promising, but he's still raw. Joe Andre is a feel-good story, but he's not ready to take on starting-level reps yet. Adding a player like Schwinger is a move not just for 2024, but for the post-Milano era. It's a hedge. It's smart roster management. But again, he's not the only name that should have your attention. Let's talk about the idea of bringing in Malaki Starks. If there's one thing Bills fans have learned over the last few years, it's how valuable a true chess piece defender can be. Starks isn't just a deep safety. He's someone you can line up at nickel, someone who can blitz, someone who can play man or zone. He's the type of player who would help Buffalo disguise coverages more effectively and add another layer to an already solid secondary. And with the departure of Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer aging out,